It is time for the show that proves Conor McGregor may never fight again. Wait, that's not. That's not it. Hold on. We proved something about fighting in the cage or not fighting. I know it was about retirement. Look, it's time for Verbal Tap. I am your host, Kevin. With me, of course, Raph Esparza. Raph, how are you doing this evening with the news that Conor McGregor may never fight again?
Oh, my God. What? Oh, geez. How am I going to live?
Day by day? I should have started singing. I'm sorry that I said it. Like that was a fucking common speech. Day by day. We're mocking this because it's ridiculous, and we're not even following. We're not even interested in entertaining it as a real thing.
Let me give you the short synopsis of it. So apparently it's come out this week that Conor McGregor may fight Manny Pacquiao because Manny confirmed that there were talks that's happening, but hasn't said how long or whatever. No specifics to any of it. But Dana, super bitchy, at a presser, was asked about it yesterday at the UFC Fresno. In true Dana response says, we're acting as if he's never going to fucking fight again. Really? Really? This sounds like a bad breakup. Like, you guys are the ones that break up and make up together. That's the Dana White and Conor McGregor relationship. They're the people who they get back together. You're like, oh, God, is it Ross and Rachel again? Jesus Christ. Pick one. You're together. You're not together. One of the two. The sex is probably great. But this is where it gets frustrating, guys, because the UFC is saying we're acting like he's never going to fight again because he made so much money with this whole fiasco. There's another report that says that Conor McGregor...
that much money? Like, I know he's made a lot of money, obviously. Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to...
diminish.
Look, I'm not that wealthy. Let's be super clear. But is he... He's not... Surely he understands there's still money to be made, right?
I mean, but the UFC has chump change comparatively is just kind of the idea. There's another article that says that Conor McGregor, some of his inside circle is concerned that he might be doing John Jones-esque behavior now.
So
and there were reports
is that code for a lot of cocaine? That has to be, right?
I hope it's code. And you know what? If somebody said Conor McGregor did cocaine, I don't know that I would fight the accusation. I'd just go, yeah, probably.
That has to be. Sorry, I thought that's even what you were insinuating. That he's on a John Jones-esque. No, shut up. Come on. So, can I honestly ask you this? Do you think it's worth it for him to do this financially?
I think we're at a point now where nobody thinks of these people, Kevin. But I think it's time that we start thinking about the Conor McGregor trolls. Okay? If Conor McGregor doesn't fight again, those trolls
I wasn't expecting you to
no ammunition because those motherfuckers are getting on and they defend him to a T. And I love playing the role of somebody who's just bemused. We had somebody who was complaining about the fact that Conor McGregor no, I'm sorry, it was GSP, and we're going to talk about GSP in a few seconds. But they were saying that GSP didn't defend his title. And then somebody is like, well, neither did Conor. And I was like, dude, who gives a fuck? Like, if this doesn't tell you how meaningless the titles are these days, they put titles on people so that they can sell more pay-per-views. But there are tons of fighters who don't have titles who are amazing. And yeah, sometimes it sucks, but it's just like in the WWE. They know the chase is in the title. That's why John Cena doesn't always have the title. He has to chase to get it to WrestleMania. So you stay through a whole season's worth of television to watch him get beat up and then rise. It's classic kayfabe. But Kev, the Conor McGregor trolls, they come in strong. They say things. They let you know that Conor McGregor is the greatest of all time. And you know what? And you know what? He is one of the most engaging personalities of all times, is Kev. You cannot deny that. But now entertaining this whole Manny Pacquiao thing, one commenter put on our post and said, oh, so he wants to go 0-2 in boxing now, huh?
I actually honestly was like, just in Vegas, I was like, is he the favorite? No, he's probably. Is he the favorite? I honestly, it did take me a second to be like, that's definitely a closer fight by my estimation. And I don't love Manny Pacquiao. I just don't. And I know this is maybe crazy, and you've already done it. I guess you've won your argument because I'm like, well, okay, I would watch him fight Manny Pacquiao. But financially, it's not worth it. I guess if he loses to, say, Tony Ferguson, or he loses, right, that's where the forfeiture comes in, which is interesting. It's an interesting argument.
Okay.
He's going to make a lot of money in the next one. If he
the dumb part of all of this, though, Kev, is you're now going to give fuel to the Tony Ferguson train that says he's afraid to fight me. You know, the Eddie Alvarez train. He's afraid to fight me. Everybody's going to use that thing because they all want to fight with Conor McGregor. And they all want that money. Like, it's the most transparent thing you've ever seen. Tony Ferguson might say, like, yeah, you know, I want to prove I'm the best in the division. I'm pretty sure Tony Ferguson goes to sleep thinking he's the best in the division no matter what happens with this Conor McGregor fight. But it's neither here nor there. In order to sell a fight, you want to get the money fight. Conor McGregor is the money fight. So I don't really care. And I don't really want to see him fight Manny Pacquiao. But you know what happened the last time we said we didn't want to see him fight somebody? We still fucking watched it. And it made a lot of fucking money. So guess what? Even though everybody's like, they're not talking Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, that's never going to happen. Don't will it into existence. Stop it right now. Don't say it will never happen, because I feel like there's some sort of reverse magic spell that will make it happen if you keep saying shit like that. So that is my note to everybody about this fight. Kevin, let's talk to another person right now who may or may not.
You shut up, Raph. I'm putting you on hold. I have no interest in you in this segment. I'm going to put Raph on hold and bring on someone who can really tell us about the fight game. Someone who really knows what it's like to be either potentially retired or potentially not, and then come back and then, you know what? Let's let him speak. He lined in. He flashed the bad signal. Raph saw it. He's out. Here is the current middleweight champion at 185, former welterweight champion, Georges St. Pierre. GSP, how you doing this evening, sir?
Ole, 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 ole. GSP is hurting head.
Why so glum?
Oh no, GSP is he is so hurt. Ow, I have the tummy issue.
What does that mean? What's the tummy issue?
My tum is not very good right now. GSP is GSP is feeling it in the inside of the intestine. Oh God. If you had listened to an interview with Rafa Esparza from Verbal Tap with Mr. Danaher John, you would know what is wrong with me and what I was doing before the fight. Oh, I would go right now to watch that interview on
Verbal Tap YouTube page.
Oh, thank you.
23 minutes of perfect Danaher.
Oh, it's so good. But, GSP hurt so bad. So GSP had to give up that title, yes, no?
Yeah, well, I mean, so that's what's funny. Did you have to? I mean, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
It kind of seems like you've hit the point, and this is just based off your words, based off of Dana, where maybe you didn't really plan to defend this title. You kind of.
Oh, that is poppycock. It was GSP's mega plan to come back, show he was the best of all times. Is beat Michael Bisping. Yeah, poppycock. It is when you get popcorn from a cockatoo and you say poppycock. More importantly, Kevin, listen to me now. Hear me later. But I want to tell you this. GSP had every intention to maybe defend that title.
And?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to do it now, so.
Sam, okay. Well, are you going to continue fighting? Like, that's where I guess we all get into limbo. It's like, well, okay, well, you're not going to defend the title. Are you moving down a weight class? Are you?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. GSP would love to answer that question, but GSP, Tum Tum, It hurts so bad.
Interesting. Going to be tough to host the Boneyard.
If GSP were to feel better, and I mean magically better, like for no reason, maybe GSP would entertain super fight with Conor McGregor.
Maybe. Is that kind of what we're holding out here for?
I mean, I don't know. GSP does not hold the cards to those things. GSP just, if only more money could make GSP better. Oh, if he could wear a gi and have less Reebok scholarship, he would be much better. That is, I think, the cause of GSP's root of problem.
Well, GSP, you're the man, as you know, but when are we going to see you fight? I mean, I guess, is it super fights kind of? Is that what we're...
Probably
okay,
GSP.
Okay. And history shows if the price...
Hold on, real quick. Shh. If GSP is leveling with you, because you are my people. GSP has been here since day one. Yes, no?
Yes, and yes.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, and yes. So GSP is going to level with you guys. GSP was never going to fight. At 185, you're kidding yourself. GSP is old. In dog years, GSP is very old. But in fight years, he is much older. So, the hard part for GSP is, he's like, why should I hurt myself for your entertainment? I beat up Michael Bisping because, you know what, I do favor the country. You guys don't like GSP, but you definitely do not like Michael Bisping. So, then they want me to fight Bobby Knuckles. And I go, no, thank you. I've seen his punching power. Then you want me to fight the Kendall, the Luke Rockhold, and GSP not interested. GSP more pretty than him. So, give me super fight. Oh, and Tyrone Woodley? GSP has seen him fight. No, thank you.
It's mostly just top pressure, which also his grinder nickname. Joe.
Look at you.
GSP.
Like a funny man.
Final thoughts. I just want to thank you for coming on and say.
Well, first of all, thank you. GSP has had a long time. He is putting ice on his head. And it's hard for GSP to concentrate. But I will tell you this. Best part about Tyrone Woodley is if I never fight him, then he can never say he beat me. So, your legacy sucks now. GSP should roast more people more often. But no, it is hard because, my stomach.
Yeah, and yours is way meaner.
It hurts.
Wow.
If only GSP had more money.
Verbal Tap fans, the one, the only, Georges St. Pierre.
Ole, 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 ole. This interview was brought to you from GSP's toilet.
Dark days. And I'm going to bring Raph back. It doesn't sound great in the GSP world. He sounds a little, I'm nervous. I think as we've hinted, it's going to be Conor McGregor or nothing. Because I certainly don't think we're going to get that.
Dude, I don't know what the fuck he's even trying to do at this point. I feel he was in that place. GSP's doing the same thing that Conor is, which is they realize the UFC needs them. And after the UFC's kind of dicked them around for a little while, now they're just having fun.
And there's few things the UFC enjoys more than the ability to dick people around. This is a fact. This is real. They enjoy that extra side of it. And GSP's always done a good job. He's done, to his credit, an extremely fantastic job.
But can you imagine, though, Kevin, if you and I had a scheduling issue for this podcast and I got really pissed at you, that I'd go on the offensive and be like, Kevin's retired from fucking podcasting. It would sound weird. It would sound like something's wrong with me. It would sound like, they're obviously going to make more podcasts, but did they have a break in negotiations? It just doesn't seem like them.
It is bizarre to me. Like, the whole thing is bizarre. That's where, in general, but that's kind of where we are with the UFC now.
Absolutely.
Fighters don't trust them. I get it.
And do we trust them? No. I still have no idea what the fuck they're doing. So there you have it, guys. Words from the man himself, which I didn't hear because I take a mental vacation when I'm on that. But we have those things going on. Kev, can we talk about a few things in the grappling community?
There is a lot to talk about. There was KASAI, there's Gio and Nicky, and those are like our last two topics. And you have to fill me in because I'm clueless.
Okay. No, so here's the thing,
Family
guys.
time, birthdays. What do you
Yeah,
do?
no, it was, hold on, wait. I have a surprise for Kevin. I know GSP and I don't talk, but every once in a while we come together and we collaborate. So we actually collaborate. GSP and I, we actually, for Kevin's birthday, because today we're recording and it is Kevin's birthday, we recorded a song of happy birthday. I'm going to play it for you guys right now, okay?
I'm so excited.
Okay. You ready for this? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2, 3, and 4. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Phillips Kevon. Happy birthday to you. That was beautiful, GSP. That was great harmony. I can't believe we came together for that one. I cannot believe we worked together so well. It is like your voice is mine. And it's like your voice is mine. No, no, no. You have a much more pretty voice than GSP. Yes, no? Oh, definitely yes. More than no. Good to see you. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
You two working
GSP
together.
still hates you. Hey, don't talk over us. It's hard enough for us to do this at one time. So goodbye, Kevin Phillips. Until next birthday.
Here I thought I was.
Anyway, guys. All right. I hope you enjoyed that very special.
That was
birthday message.
amazing. You two coming together gives me hope. 2018 might be different.
It's definitely not. So I can tell you right now, the grappling world has lost its fucking mind. Let's change topic to right now. What's going on?
Scared me with what was going on with KASAI. I was like, oh, I'm just expecting a normal grappling event. Doesn't sound so.
Kev, what if I were to tell you it's a round robin format? Okay.
Okay.
So that could be fun. There's 3 rounds and there's 8 competitors. So not all the people are going to go with each other. It's not kind of like Copa Podio. So it's a one night sort of thing. It's supposed to be within a certain amount of time, but it definitely was not. And what if I were to tell you in that first round, there was 4 matches. Okay.
4 matches.
How many draws do you think were in those 4 matches?
2, 3.
No, 4, motherfucker. There were 4 draws.
Oh, that's
right
bad
up
luck.
top.
Great.
So when you talk about a point set, it's essentially IBJJF minus the advantages, so you can still get negative points, but you also get heel hooks, which in theory is supposed to make you better. However, it's only 6 minutes. So you get all this high-level talent, and then you encourage them to engage in IBJJF rules, which in theory can produce better kind of events. But then you get a match where, say, like Gary Tonin doesn't give a fuck about points, but is putting Gianni Grippo in more submission danger. And because Gianni Grippo puts a knee on him or does some other bullshit, he gets more points and he wins the match. Now, I'm not super upset about this because Gary doesn't give a fuck what's happening. But this does produce the results where you get only 2 submissions in that tournament. And that's a problem. On the other side, you have a no-gi guy who does a lot of submission only, no time limit matches in Gordon Ryan, who legitimately, in the time allotted for his super fight, which, by the way, I believe was 10 minutes, actually submitted Yuri Samoas. So, I ask you, Kevin, when you see a rule set that does not produce a high amount of submissions, is it acceptable to say it was 1, a bust, and number 2, maybe we should look at the rule set?
Well, without getting into, and I know that this is, fuck off if it rubs people the wrong way, without getting crazy, any tournament that doesn't yield submission-based results is ultimately kind of a failure. Those are the words we must speak. KASAI had built themselves as sort of like, we're going to end the year on a big bang, and it sounds as though they ended the year on just a lot of draws, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but that does call to criticism your rule sets because we have some pretty exciting ones currently existing.
So let me point this out. We had one individual respond to our, we actually shared a status. This was from Keenan Brooks, who said, so can we all agree that KASAI has the worst rule set in jiu-jitsu? I thought it's a funny post. Obviously, we go to the IBJJF tournaments, And we do have a certain expectation when we see it. We do understand there's probably going to be less submissions. And that's kind of a sucky place to be in, but we buy into it for whatever reason. When you get a majority of these grapplers who are top tier talent, you want to see submissions. You want to see some sort of incentive that makes that work. But when you have the IBJJF rules, you get people who are going to play it safe. So it becomes a little more muted. And it makes the whole submission format for points, when you don't do the points the right way, a little less than ideal. That's not the most important point. When I say a little bit later, I say, hey, how can we improve it? It was kind of a bust that night, meaning you had 2 submissions. So not a success, in my view. There's one guy who argued, this is my favorite thing, and I want to get your response. This is a great way to make sure you see a variety of matches. And there aren't excuses about getting a bad matchup. I understand that people like draws, or actually, he's supposed to say, I understand that people don't like draws. But he said, I understand that people like draws. So faulty part number 1. Kevin, don't you love draws? What he's trying to say is, I understand that people don't like draws, and I don't either. But if that's the price of watching this amount of good matchups, I'll take it. Fuck no. That's not an excuse. There is very little excuse I will take to see a multiple amount of draws. And when you start to allow that into that world, you're going to see the most boring television grappling there is. We already work so hard to try to make this more interesting. And I get it. Some of you out there don't love EBI. It's not your jam. And I'm not asking you to love EBI, but I'm asking you, points people, make something that's a little more incentive. And I have to give this to Eric Lahane, who said draws should be scored the same as a loss. More incentive to actually win the match. And I said, yes. Because on that, at least you give somebody a little bit more who's going to try and not make it a draw.
And
your thoughts?
Well, I was also just gonna in general ask, how was the Murillo Craig Jones match?
Oof. Okay. Would you like to know how Craig Jones lost that match?
He lost it? Interesting. Yeah. I'm in.
He lost it by talking to the ref.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so here we're going to talk about something important. Some people call it he lost by Brazilian, which was Brazilian favoritism. So I called them Brazilian points, # trademark. Craig Jones apparently didn't know the full rule set because it was a little weird. But he had put up a post yesterday, and I felt so bad for him, dude. But this post, it hurt my heart because it identified exactly what the problem was for the competitor side, who might be like, what the fuck are these rule sets? And he said, I wish they told me 2 penalties was 2 points instead of 3. So he basically just lost on points. And it wasn't super exciting to watch. It was really devastating. And I like that certain people after it were saying, like, well, they're 1-1. No. One of them got a submission, and the other one lost by talking to a ref. I think one still holds more water. Flow Grappling had a major fail, though, Kev. And I want to get your opinion, you having not seen the match, but just kind of understanding where you might fall on this, because we love us some Flow Grappling fails, right?
It is pretty great, just because they've got such a pretty hypocritical monopoly. Yeah.
Well, like when they fuck up like pretty significantly, right?
Big time.
Okay. So when they put up a post, they said that something to the effect of, tonight, the Craig Jones hype train was derailed with a loss. And I was like, I'm sorry. If you think that his momentum was in any way altered by that bumfuck of a decision, you are sorely mistaken. And it got a number of likes. So, there's that. Anyway, Kev, that's what we saw here over at KASAI. We wish them the best. They put together a great commentary team. And by commentary team, I mean they got Sean Williams, and he's good enough for 2 people. And that was truly tested this weekend when they had him commentating with one Josh Palmer. So it really tested the limits on that one, but it came out ahead.
And I'm sure the commentary, I mean, I like that team as an announcement. I'm interested in listening to that team. But I'm not necessarily, we'll see if I get to KASAI. We'll see if I get there.
No.
Raph, Gio and Nicky might fight.
Hold
on before we get there, because they're super both no gi. And you were talking about draws the whole time, and all I could think about was, I'm so glad I have my North-South Jiu-Jitsu underwear. I'm so glad I have it to keep me secure during all these concerns about which draws is next. I don't have to worry about my draws. My draws are always secured nicely to my hips with A4, because I was born with an ass that was made for walking. And I'm prepared to grapple in them and them alone as I did swim in the ocean in them and them alone. And I think you all should too. Get a gift this holiday season. People care about NorthSouthJiu-Jitsu.com. Get them the underwear they need to train in. People are going to thank us for this.
I feel a lot of the times people get more information about you on this podcast than they care for. And it's not like you sneaking in a lot, but every once in a while, yeah.
It's for me, it's for the holidays. NorthSouthJiu-Jitsu.com, North South Jiu-Jitsu underwear. Hook up a family member. Hook up that's most important to them. Raph, Nicky calls out Gio?
Yeah, okay. Let me give you the context here, Kev. We're in a strange place right now. Nicky Ryan is on fire. This kid's amazing. He is by rank a purple belt, but he has destroyed people who are way above that. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way. Prodigy, compete at ADCC. Good kid. He calls out Gio, and he does it fairly respectfully, and the internet loses their mind. I can't tell you how many people have wasted their time commentating on this thing because they want to see things happen. They want to will into existence the fact that this kid, and they keep referring to him as a kid, which I think is both accurate and insulting. So take that for what you will. But yeah, he's young. And Gio eventually put up a response that was saying like, hey, I respect the kid, but, you know, do I think I'd smoke him? Yes. Do I think he's really earned a title shot? No. But, like, I feel like we're going to grapple at some point. And I think Gio is more inclined to try and have a match with Eddie. Eddie talked with me, again, youtube.com, Verbal Tabcast, go look it up. He told me he wants a super fight with Gio. So this should be a done deal to me. They should just do Gio and Eddie. We've seen it before. Some people feel it wasn't a finalized kind of a thing. I thought it was a great match. I'd love to see it again. And I even asked Eddie if he's down for submission only, no time limit. He said yes and said that's got to be the way it's been done. So now you have everybody chiming in on this. And I'm not talking about just 10th Planet people. I'm talking about not just Henzo people or people who hang on the nuts of Gary and Gordon. I'm talking about everybody has an opinion on this. So here's mine. Shut the fuck up. If you're a fan, get excited about this. But I don't understand why so many people are spending so much of their time debating about the merits of this kid who's already a prodigy and is already amazing. And yeah, maybe should get a fight with Gio at some point. And it's not like Gio dismissed it outright. He's just saying like, hey, I want to do other shit first. I think Gio has a whole career as a martial artist that he can pick and choose who he wants to have matches with. Gary sweetened the pot by saying he'll take a match with anybody from 10th Planet as long as Gio does a match with Nicky. And then offered to say like he give up his purse or some whatever bullshit that they always do. But here's the interesting thing about that. Gio said that. Gary responded. I don't even know that Nicky's been responding a whole bunch as a response to all of this, but everybody's just been going in flame wars of saying, well, you know, he's a kid and he deserves this. He's beaten some of their best black belts in 10th Planet. And then you get on the other side of people saying like, yeah, but those Planet rankings don't mean shit. Gio can do what he wants. Yeah, but Gio was disrespectful to him and saying whatever. Yeah, well, you know, last year Gary said this. Yeah, well, we want this. It's really fucking boring. I think let's get priority number 1 done. Let's see Gio and Eddie. Don't you want to see that more, Kev?
I mean, 100%. No, I mean, no offense to Nicky, but is he 18 yet?
No.
Well, when he turns 18, I'm interested more in watching him fight adults. But currently, I'd rather watch Eddie and Gio. Plus, I saw the Eddie interview. I was like, oh, fuck, that sounds like a fun match. I also enjoyed Eddie said with confidence to you exclusively, he was sure that Gio would fight him no time limit sub only. And I got to tell you, it was one of the few times I was like, oh, yeah, that probably is how Gio would prefer to fight him. Because Gio's a psychopath, too. They're both psychopaths.
Down for it. Gio wants finality. Don't get me wrong. Gio's proud of his achievement, and it's the tournament rules that were for EBI.
I'm just saying, I saw your interview. I agreed. And as he said it, I was just like, oh, yeah. And this is a compliment to Gio. There's not 5 people Eddie would call out and be like, they're comfortable in this format. There's only about 1. It's Gio.
And Eddie was saying it like a madman. And they've had promoters fall through. They've had injuries come in and out.
He also said it complimentary.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm saying like that's important too. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna fuck Gio up. It was like, I'd like to fight Gio. I think we're both pretty agreeable. It needs to be. And he was like, and I want to finish this. It's like,
But can I point this out, though, Ken?
Yeah.
Everybody's been, for the most part in this whole thing, fairly respectable. Because Nicky called out Gio respectfully. Eddie called out Gio respectfully. Gio responded to the kid respectfully. And yet, we still haven't heard anything exactly from Gio about Eddie, but I think he wants to do it. I just think it's like time, place. And from people who I know who know both of them, I think they're both amicable to it. But I feel like they got burned on some promoter, as Eddie mentioned in our interview. And I think on the other side, I think injuries have kept things from going the way they should. But this is everybody being respectful. Could you imagine how much more of a flame war we would have had if people were like, fuck you, I beat you, this kid's going to fuck you up, hey, fuck 10th Planet. But that's kind of where people are taking it. So I'll tell you this. As a fan, Gio Eddie, number 1. If I see Gio and Nicky, still could be a great match. But you know what? Nicky has a lot of great matches at his disposal. So it's not shit-talking him. It's not shit-talking anybody. It's just, I don't understand. I want you guys to do a true calculation. And it's like a ratio calculation to take the amount of time that you have spent typing on a computer how much you don't like 10th Planet or how much you feel like Nicky is overrated. And proportionalize that to how much of a life you don't have. And you have your happiness success ratio in your life.
Life wisdom with Raph Esparza. Yep, I'm just saying. Comes in a lot of shapes and sizes, Raph. You're always dishing it out. We're about to talk to Albert Morales about last night's UFC, about a lot of things going on. Him, all his craziness. This has been a fantastic recap. I actually appreciate it because now I kind of feel like I understand what happened with KASAI. Because I'm a big fan of Josh Palmer, obviously. And you were way more excited about Sean Williams. Like, all right, yeah, that sounds fine. But I'm a big Palmsies fan. So it's interesting to me in terms of but I heard there was weirdness about the Craig Jones-Barrio match. And it's like, damn it, I was looking forward to that. And I heard there was weirdness about the tournament. That's just what I heard. Plus, I'm sorry, when I think about end-of-the-year tournaments and I think about some of the grapplers that are available and what's going on, I just didn't feel like I got it. I'm thinking about John Combs. I'm thinking about different fighters. I'm thinking about Mike Perez. I'm thinking about, Gabe Arges. I'm just thinking about different fighters that are out there and I was looking to see fight, maybe didn't hear about. Keenan's KASAI live stream got shut down by Flow Grappling, which is the funniest thing I've heard in a very long time.
It's as if Keenan suddenly recognized that maybe pointing a camera at a paywall defined live stream would be a bad choice. And I'd like to make a little point about this. Mostly this, Kev. I don't understand. There's some people who feel like they own footage that's not theirs. It's really weird. People just feel like they're entitled to all this footage. It's like, well, it's behind a paywall, whatever, I want to show it. I do it for the people. I do it for the culture. And it's just kind of like, well, that's not a good enough excuse. And granted, you don't have to like Flow Grappling to at least understand it's kind of a shitty thing to do. But you know what the funny part about it is? Keenan came forward with it, put Hal Teague on there, who, by the way, has had his own set of heat going on in his life right now. But he's like, hey, I felt like I was a kid stealing candy and got caught in a store. Oops, sorry. At least he kind of admitted it was the wrong thing to do. But, you know, guys, here's the thing. Grappling doesn't get bigger by you stealing footage. And I understand it's kind of a weird thing to say just because, you know, we feel like we own everything. But there's a reason why we're capped at so many people watching our events. And it's always that whole thing where we say in our gyms, oh, it'd be so nice if this was a bigger sport. Well, you know what? You're stopping the progress when you do that shit. So think about it when you're sharing illegally paywalled fucking shit. And you know what? If you're going to steal it, then be fucking quiet about it and just look at it on Instagram when it goes up. But if you have a channel and you end up sharing it, don't go crying about it and be like, I can't believe they're making me take this down. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, you stole it from a pay-per-view. What do you think was going to happen? You're lucky you just got one strike. So
you get called out when you steal.
And I'm just saying this as a nice thing, which is, you know, people who make brands and repurpose that content, y'all work hard for your channels. I don't let Kevin put on all the porn that he steals from Pornhub on our fucking channel.
It's been a source of contention on the podcast for 4 years.
We've argued all the way back and forth about it. And I said, Kevin, you can express your art in a different way. So he's decided to make sketch drawings of his porn. And that is the decision we have come together on. Because you know what? Kevin is an artist.
No one's pleased about the decision.
Nobody is. No, we still bicker about it. But anyway, that's my point. But yes, Keenan at the top of the food chain every once in a while, the same guy who's like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and make a technique video and go ahead and cut splices of clips together from events that are paywalled and would normally get strikes for other people and then be like, oopie doopie, whereas the rest of us would probably get a strike on our accounts. But because he's Keenan, well, he's so cute when he does it. So I'm just glad that he had a good favor about it and apologized. But yes, that is a huge problem in our sport.
Keenan's, well, I didn't care. I was like, what do they own Keenan's views for? But let's go talk to Albert Morales, and we'll ping pong more on some topics because that's what Raph and I bring. We don't ever agree.
Mm-mm. Kev, you know what's really funny? When you see some of your friends, they make it to the big time. So they're your homies. And, you know, when you see other fighters, you just kind of look at them and you go, oh, those guys, oh, good for them.
We're also
but then
adults,
when you see,
so we have a huge spectrum of, like, people making it. Like, sometimes it's like, oh, I'm going to be on this storytelling show. It's like, I made it. Great. Right. We're talking about something different currently.
Right. These are the individuals who make it on the UFC who, instead of saying, like, oh, good for that guy, it's this guy going, like, really? Albert? I mean, what's exciting about this guy? Like, really? Like, if you're going to pick him, cool, good for him, I'm glad. But we were actually very excited when we saw footage of our good friend Albert Morales, the Warrior, getting picked by Dana White and looking for a fight. But yesterday night, he was in Fresno, had an electric fight that we wanted to talk with him, so we decided we'd bring him back on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back our good friend, Albert Morales. Al, how are you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. Feeling good. You know, still feeling a little loose from the fight, so I'm ready for your shit.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, listen, I'll tell you this right now.
We should preface, we know him. We've known him since before he threw his bags at other people and was like, I expect my locker filled with the tightest tights, a 135-pounder, since way before he was calling the shots with Reebok. We've known now. So we should just tell the audience that just one more time. If he becomes a diva halfway through this, which I think he's going to, he's eating nothing but really lean stuff and steroids, I presume. That's another guess. Al, do you want to, is that correct, or you just...
Yeah, I'm on a bunch of steroids for sure.
The rare 135ers don't get popped for that very often. It's not a normal.
I don't know, man. I'm not gonna call out names, man, but I actually know someone who's actually been popped for them. So at that weight class, and there's actually a couple of them, man.
I stand corrected. Little guys need to feel bigger too.
Kev, don't play around with them too much, because this is also the guy who did like a Facebook Live where he's like, guys, you saw I just came, and I'm gonna let you guys know, honestly, I got popped for being clean, bitches.
Yeah. I actually do remember that, and it was a terrifying moment too. It's like, we've got vested interest. We know you. I scream at the television during your fights. Anyone I've exchanged time with. You did do the Facebook Live prank, which also makes it really hard to trust you anytime you're kind of making big announcements, right, as you've experienced now. But how do you feel post-fight? I mean, you lost a tough decision, but a close one.
Shoot, how do I feel? Yeah, it sucks, man, because I honestly felt that I did enough to win that fight. You know, I got hit with 2 flying knees, man, back to back, dude. And I thought I thought I recovered very, very well, man, and ended up, you know, not losing that round as bad as I should have lost it. You know, I defended a guillotine too. At least I got to work a little bit of jiu-jitsu, even though it was defense. Shit, I don't know, man. It was a great fight. It was super entertaining. You know what I'm really pissed about? Like, obviously, the biggest thing is I lost. Like, that was the whole thing. I didn't care about any fight bonus. I just wanted to win that fight. I did everything right for this camp, like everything, dog. Like, I was running 8 miles a day, dude. I've never ran a mile, like, for a camp. So I was doing everything, man. Sleeping early, taking supplements, like.
Jokes aside, dude, you look yoked. Like, you look great. I was joking about the steroids. Albert's a really hard worker. You look great. Man. So that makes that kind of all dials up.
I cut 3 pounds. I was eating the whole week of weigh-ins. Like, I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I brought my own stove to the hotel, and I was eating. I went to Whole Foods, freaking was eating bison, eggs, like just everything super clean. Up until like hours before I started cutting weight, and I only cut 3 pounds. Like the Epsom salt bath was like almost like a relaxing sit in the jacuzzi, bro. It was crazy. But yeah, man, it sucks that I didn't get the win. But even more, man, I wanted that fight of the night bonus. Yeah, my boy T City ended up stealing everything.
Next fight bonuses, yeah, he's like that. He's
okay.
Like
that. Now I need to talk about this because first round was a little rough. Second round, you were right. You were eating the shots, but then when you like came alive in the second one, I felt you were finding your rhythm. And it seemed like the commentators were like saying like, "Oh, look at his stance and look at his pop with his shots." Now, when that happens though, I thought you came alive in the second, and I thought second and third, did you have those as the rounds that you won?
Yeah. You know what's funny, man? I thought like I wasn't. I originally thought I won the first and the third till I watched the fucking first again, right? But the first, like, even though, like I said, I got caught with the 2 knees in the beginning of the round, but before that, right before he hit me with the first knee, I had actually rocked him with a double jab, and so the whole game plan was we knew he likes to throw these flying knees, so don't get overzealous, like don't attack this dude, like if you hit him, let him fall down and take your time and take your shots. Like a dumbass, like I fucking hit him, I see him go down, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go get him, so I rushed him. When I went to go rush him, he jumped that knee. It cracked me. I stumbled, got right back up, and then we ended up getting into an exchange, and he hit me with another one, and then jumped the guillotine. But after that, I ended up escaping the guillotine, cracking him a couple of times, rocking him, and then end up on his back for the rest of the round. So it's like, I get the guy who got me with 2 big knees and almost guillotined me, but I mean, I think I finished the round on top, and I rocked him twice within that whole exchange, but everybody just sees those 2 flying knees. So I didn't think I lost the first round, but I guess I did, you know, if you want to go based off flying knees. And then second, I thought second, Benito won. for some reason, I don't know. I just was like, okay, maybe he did a little bit more that round. I don't really remember that round too much. Like, I remember what I was doing, but that wasn't a really big round in my mind. But I knew that I had to win the third, and I felt I did enough, especially that last, like, 2 minutes. I was just going to press him. I know I won the last exchange of the fight. I think that's when I broke his nose really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. I just really felt like I felt good the whole fight. My cardio was good. I felt like I landed the better strikes. I think I landed a lot more. I slipped a lot more. It is what it is, man.
Well, okay, and we're going to harp on this because we want to make you feel terrible, but so when I see you come alive, especially in that third, it's weird when it's somebody else, but especially when we know you and we know you well, like you were starting to laugh again. Like, even as you're throwing your shots, you look like you're having fun at the end of a fight. And most people look miserable at the end of 15 minutes of warring. But you look like you were smiling. You were like, when he hit you with the shot, you'd be like, all right. And then you came back harder and you were pressing the action. And then at the end, you guys embraced and you guys seemed to like really say nice things to each other. What were you guys saying to each other during that?
I said, I love you. And I want you to be in my life for the rest. I don't want you to ever leave my side, and you're my friend for life. No, dude. I just no, man. It was just like, dude, man, that was an awesome scrap, bro. Like, hopefully, let's get this money, let's get this bonus. In my mind, I thought I won. So like, I was kind of like, yeah, good job, kid. In my mind,
I 100% got that vibe when I saw you on TV because you had that confidence, that whole third round that seemed to exude, I'm winning this fight. And that's coming from a good place of, I'm pretty sure they told you after that second round, it's 1-1, win this fucking round. Yeah. And then the body language and the way that you were carrying yourself seemed to signify to me, like, okay, I think Al thinks he won this fight. And I knew it would be close. But then when we got to the announcement, you were in such a hype, good mood, and then you saw that visible split of you looking and being like, shit, really? When they announced the judges. And that's where, like, for me, I'm looking at you and I go, that's the heartache of the 3-round system. That's the heartache of,
fast, though.
Well, how does that work? Like, some judges may not see it that way. Most of the people who we knew, who didn't even know you, were still saying, like, we had it scored for you. And so it was a little rough to see. And then you hear this guy talking, and then he's like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure my nose is broken. You go, I mean, shit, dude, that's hard to take in, Yeah.
Yeah, it was yeah. No, I'm not going to lie, man. I went backstage, and I fucking felt that shit, man. I felt it for sure. Yeah, man, but like I said, like, it's just little learning curves. At least, I'm getting a lot of love from fans and stuff like that. Like, I've been growing followers, dude. I'm not like the most popular dude on Instagram. Like, I got like a solid 4,000. You know what I mean? Not that much. But I mean, they're real followers for the most part, and everybody they're really interactive with my stories and stuff like that. But I'm actually getting a lot more now. Like, I've got it's only been I think I've got 600 since the fight. But they're real people, they're guys that are leaving in legit comments. I got a couple of trolls too, but it was cool, man. It's cool. I'd rather than be organic than these fake million followers. You know what I mean? I actually care about who I'm talking to. So I don't know, man. There's a bunch of positives that came from it.
You do, man, with all of your interaction, your social media, you do a good job of being consistent. And sometimes, if I'm being honest, I see you put a live video out on such a regular basis that I'm like, yo, I need to get on my shit because this fucker's on it daily and he fights for a living and this is what I do. So I was like, fuck you, Albert. I don't need this in my life. But I want to ask this because Benito also seemed to suggest, I think at the end of his post-fight speech, he was like, yeah, there was some beef. What was the beef? I don't even know that I felt I really saw it be that bad between the two of you, but maybe you can elaborate. It was worse than I thought.
No, hell no, it wasn't worse than what you thought. It was exactly that. The reason why you didn't hear about it or feel that there was that much of a beef was because I wasn't pressing it like there was that much of a beef. I'd never What happened was we were supposed to fight last year. So right before I got signed to the UFC, we were supposed to fight for a title in Sacramento. Everything's set. We're all good to go. 2 weeks before the fight, he pulls out. All right. I'm like, fuck, dude, this is like the sixth guy that's pulled out on me this year. Like, this was an actual cool check, and it was for a belt, so it meant a lot to me, man. Like $2,000 back then, dude. That's like my girl not having to worry about like paying rent. So that means we can go out a lot more. It was a lot because I wasn't working, so it meant a lot to me. So, anyways, he pulls out, and the reason why he pulls out is because he suffers a concussion. So I'm like, all right, cool, concussions, that's serious. I guess, like, you know, I always get concussions, but it's serious. So then I find out that it was he pulled out over a concussion that he suffered 2 weeks ago. So it was like he waited 2 weeks to pull out, which was 2 weeks before the fight. So you're telling me, like, you got a concussion 2 weeks ago. Why didn't you pull out then? So then they could find me a new opponent, not 2 weeks fucking later where it's like crunch time to find me an opponent. Anyway, I kind of called him out, but I didn't say his name. I was just like, dog, I'm sick of fucking lame fighters. Like, I'm sorry if I'm coaching, my bad, dude. I'm sick of lame fighters that are just freaking pulling out a fight. You know, I depend on this money. And I guess he took it it kind of was a call out, but it wasn't really directed to him. It was directed to a bunch of them. And that's how the beef started. Cody No Love got involved too. So I guess Cody was the one that knocked him out. And he started talking on my page. I was like, bro, I don't even give a damn about what you say, dude. Like, just because you're in the UFC, you think I give a damn about you? So I cut that guy off. So then me and Cody had a little gay beef, but that's done. But I don't know. There was really no beef about it, man. I guess he kept on to it. He was talking about destiny and karma and all this kind of nonsense.
Was it? Did you talk about his neck tattoo? Did you say anything about his neck tattoo?
No, I didn't say anything about his neck tattoo. It looks pretty. I haven't really looked at it. I don't really know what it is, man. But it's colorful.
I'm just asking what I want to know what level it was, and that's how I gauge it. It sounds like this was pretty. This is just two pretty boys. I get it. Sometimes you have to, and he's already hot to fire. If the Ultimate Fighter taught me anything. Well, okay, so you've got some Instagram following. I'm gonna kind of ask you the loftiness. So you get picked by Dana White on the subtly titled something show about picking fighters. Mm-hmm. Now you're a UFC star because you're scrappy, and I think he liked that you hugged him. How does it feel ascension-wise? Because you seem to be allocating it in a good way. Now, I don't know what you're doing in your spare time. You might have just done a rail of coke. I hope you didn't, but I don't know. You seem like you're mostly investing in your training, keeping it jiu-jitsu real, but talk to us about the differences.
Differences between what?
Your mindset. How are you approaching it now? Is it the same? Is it a little different? Like now you're in a very high visibility professional. You're in the UFC. When you were fighting in front of fun crowds before that, but it wasn't the UFC. I mean, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Right now, it's amazing. When I first got signed, it felt amazing, you know. Like it's a huge jump from going, like you said, local scene, local jiu-jitsu tournaments to like being in the UFC. But even more so, like it kind of blew my head up. Like I kind of thought I was the shit. Like I stopped going to jiu-jitsu as much. I stopped I was training with my coach. I would come and practice every day. But was I really giving it my all like I used to? I thought I was, you know, in my head I was, but I really wasn't. And I still thought I was invincible. Every guy that I've lost to, I know that I can beat them, but I was never the best Albert. So that happened then, you know, when I went to the UFC, took every short notice fight, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, one time even 1 week, different countries, Brazil, Sweden. I mean, not Sweden, where did I fight? Scotland. Mm-hmm. Like I was crazy, man, but it took me to lose myself to realize that I had to come back and just do jiu-jitsu and like I'm in love with jiu-jitsu. I've seen Rap at a couple of tournaments. I'm like, dude, I want to come back, dude. Like I felt that I lost it, man. I want to come down to your spots. even though I still can't, even though I still don't come, but I mean, like, I want to now. Like, I'm going to jiu-jitsu every day, twice a day.
I just want to point out, like, just listen to that statement over and over and over again, because I'm always like, yo, man, when are you coming to train? He's like, man, I love jiu-jitsu. I'm all about it again. I was like, cool, you coming to train? Oh, definitely not. But I love it.
Yeah, bro. No, man, I need to. Well, one, I have a legit excuse right now. Well, now I don't, because now I'm about to get a car.
Oh, okay.
No.
I just assumed you were ditching. I wouldn't fight Raph. His heel hooks, you know, he might be scary. Albert's got to look out for what number one. I get it.
Though, Kev, dude, I'm not going to heel hook.
That's exactly why I need to come train with you guys. If you guys are doing the heel hooks, because, dude, like right now, I've just been really working on passing, keeping my guard real tight. Because I'm like really working on like deep to X, and then from there comes right into like my over under pass. So like I've just been working my stuff, but like I definitely need to get on those heel hooks and stuff like that, man. I kind of want to do that combat jiu-jitsu too, but that's a huge tangent. I forgot what we were talking about.
Well, it's like diet MMA for you. You're like, sounds really great. Is. No flying knees, but sign me up.
Yeah, I like the fact that like Albert, the last time I saw him was at Ultimate Mat Warriors. He comes over and he's trying to sneak attack me, and I was like, bro, you sneak attack me, all rules are off. Like, there's no jiu-jitsu like nice guy takedown. There's like Raph grabs a chair. There's Raph is basically like, I'm like, you're gonna get the truest Mexican side out of me, where you're like, Raph, you didn't even have a knife on you, and I'll be like, false. Mexicans always have knives on them.
That's right.
But I appreciate the fact. So we're obviously going to get you to come train with us, because we've got a slew of killers that are going there. But yeah, you do love jiu-jitsu. It is good that you get to use that as a defensive side. But like, I think what you're kind of alluding to, if I'm hearing you right, is just like you've fallen in love with not just grappling, but like the MMA game in an entirely different way, right?
Yeah, man. I'm just everywhere, just like MMA, like just period. Yeah. Like everything, man. Like I'm just, as being a martial artist, how about that, man? Like the real fucking meaning of martial artist is, as corny as it sounds, man. I'm like, I don't know. I'm on a weird level that I've never been on before. So
it's only corny if you can't kick a motherfucker out and then choke him, and you can do both of those. So it's real. You're earning it. It's not like you're doing karate and calling yourself well-rounded. You're rocking this.
Kev, if you're really thinking about it, you can really fall in love with like MMA game when you're signed by the UFC and they send you to all the exotic locales like Sao Paulo and Glasgow and Fresno.
Wait, Raph. Hold on. What was that last one?
Fresno, California.
Sure. Oh, I thought you meant like Fresno, Spain. I guess, sure. No, yeah, I mean, it's not bad to slum it.
Definitely Fresno, California. Where...
Certainly more affordable to get the training camp there, I guess.
Like, you do know, and I want to make this very clear to our audience listening, the most impressive thing to me, sorry, T-City, sorry, Albert Morales, was when I saw they had Anthony Kiedis in the audience, and I go, they got that motherfucker to go to Fresno?
Right.
Damn UFC, y'all are paying him. I know it's
hold on, you got to fight in front of Anthony Kiedis?
Yeah, he was there, man. He was actually hanging out there, like when we walked in, he was like the first guy like kind of greeted. He greeted Uriah Faber, and Uriah happened to be Benito's coach. But like as soon as we walked in off the bus, he was chilling there, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, I want to say I saw he got a photo with like T-City a little bit later, and I like when I saw Brian get a photo with him. My wife goes, his reward was getting a photo with Anthony Kiedis. I was like, babe, if I want to fight, you better believe I'm getting a photo with Anthony fucking Kiedis.
Right. Yeah, it is pretty badass, man. That guy, if he got a photo and he got $100,000 in bonuses and he got his check, double check. What a night, bro. Fuck that fool.
Dude, I know. And seriously, like, we were watching it and I saw that guillotine happen. And the worst part about it is, Cub got the warning at the end of that round, got saved by the belt in that first round. And the second round, you're like, anything but a guillotine. Anything but a guillotine. Like, literally do anything else, and I'm in a guillotine. Fuck.
She was dope, man.
From what I saw, Cub, he wasn't avoiding it like I thought he would.
Yeah.
No, man.
He seemed like he was like, go fuck yourself. which, you know.
Bro, like Brian even adjusted it. Like he had it locked in, like it almost looked like he let go of it just like completely and then fucking made it tighter.
Yep. It was
crazy.
It was amazing to watch because I look at that and I think to myself, you know, most of us with our guillotines, when you lose it, you have that little bit of a window and then you really got to fight for it back in. Brian, when he readjusted, it was almost the equivalent of somebody with a sick jab getting a guillotine at the same time. Like that, it was that much force to it that I was like, oh yeah, there's no way you get out of that. It's so powerful. Like it's such a good guillotine.
Hey, wouldn't it be tight to see Brian in an EBI? Like just to see what it's about? Like, cause no one's seen him do jiu-jitsu.
Dude, I've seen plenty of jiu-jitsu.
Tight to see Albert Morales
with Brian in the UFC, but
I'm in on both. Let's get you. Let's get T-City. There's a lot of people I'm signing up.
Let's get there because, I mean, you bring up good points. You also mentioned combat jiu-jitsu. I would 100% see a black belt with the caliber of Brian's capabilities in EBI. But, it's one of those things where the fighters go, I'm concentrating on this fight game. But the minute he becomes available, we're going to try and cherry pick that motherfucker because he's definitely a different style than EBI normally has. So let's stay on that.
Yeah, it'd be dope, man, because it's like, that's like the one thing that Penner doesn't do, EBI. Didn't Eddie fought in Metamoris, so why not let one of your prospects fight in EBI? It'd be fucking dope. And Brian's down, bro. Brian's my boy, man. Brian, it would be nothing for him. He would love to do that stuff.
I have to ask
and then also, what was that?
No, you go ahead. You finish that thought, man.
Sorry, I was gonna say I also heard Kevin Casey called out Gordon Ryan, so
yeah,
it'd be like a double match. You know what I mean?
We'll get there. I want to stay on this.
Genius.
Well, hold on.
Sorry. Hey, he started it, Raph. Not my fault. He said the cool things.
I want to make sure that we stay on this. Have you felt the Brian T-City Ortega guillotine up close?
No. What's funny is that me and Brian are actually really cool homies. Like we talk to each other all the time. We eat lunch, and we've never trained with each other ever.
That's a smart decision. I wouldn't train with him either. So.
Dude, he's an animal, bro. But I've never trained with jiu-jitsu. I've never trained jiu-jitsu with him. I've trained with Kevin Casey. I've trained with Cobrinha. Believe it or not, Coach Kenny Johnson is actually pretty rough. Actually, yeah, Kenny just got his black belt. But no, never trained with Brian Ortega.
All right, let's talk about this. Albert, you dropped the mention in for combat jiu-jitsu. You are that crazy motherfucker who would want to do that. When did that thought enter your head? And, I mean, they're always looking for people, so it's not shortage on want or need. And I'm sure the UFC, it's on Fight Pass. It's possible they're always looking to put on UFC fighters. What's the case? If somebody's listening right now, why should you be on combat jiu-jitsu? Because you're about the weight.
Man. I'll go up. I'll do 55. I'll do 45. I don't want to cut for 35 if it's the same day. But if it's the next day weigh-ins, I'll do 35. I'll do any three of those. But why should I, man? Because I'll slap the shit out of a motherfucker. No, because I'm gonna do real jiu-jitsu, man. I'm gonna do real jiu-jitsu, man. It's like I don't understand the whole point of slapping while you're in the guard or not in the guard, but he's on his back, his legs are his feet are on your hips, and you're gonna slap the shit out of him. That's not real. That's not real jiu-jitsu. That's not bojada. You know what I mean? You got to get in there, get tight, pass, slap. Get him into that spot where maybe what's that stuff called? What's it called? Where you grab gift wrap, and smack the crap out of him until he gives you the arm. That's the kind of stuff. You get a triangle. He doesn't want to tap. You smack him to get the arm bar. That's the real point of I would say combat jiu-jitsu, not just slapping the shit out of each other. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. So when you're watching it and you obviously want in there and you're thinking to yourself, you're going to slap the shit out of somebody, are you even considering the fact they're toying with the idea of up kicks in that?
That'd be fucking dope. That's crazy. That'd be cool. Because then if you want to slap me from right there, then I'm going to kick you in your face. Hell yeah, I'd dig that.
Damn, son.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Damn. Okay.
It just levels it out. You know what I mean? Okay, no free slaps. jiu-jitsu with slaps. That's better. So you don't have to worry about getting kicked if you're not standing up. You're in the guard, then you don't have to worry about getting kicked.
Kev, what do you think?
I think just in terms of his general terrifyingness. Well, first of all, logistically, I was mostly fixated on how much this would give me a headache 10 seconds into training, if you want to know like where I was specifically in that conversation. But I do think, like, in general, you're a terrifying candidate for this because of your anyone who's done MMA is a lot better at this, it seems like, so far. So I kind of just tend to trust. I just trust the warrior here, and I'm ready.
The other thing is, Kev, we both train with him, so like we know how he does jiu-jitsu, but like we never had to worry about this motherfucker trying to slap us in the middle of passing.
Thank God, that was a rule. That was, and we were adamant about it. So
okay,
yeah,
all right. We happen to know some people who know EBI people who know people, but I'm not saying anything could happen. I'm just saying it's good to know because they're always looking for people. And it looks like, they just had Combat Worlds. They want to make that a thing. They're already talking about Combat Worlds too. So keep that in mind, Al.
Yeah, I was watching Combat Worlds. I was watching Chad George's division because Wagner Hosha was the one after, right? I think they were the one higher. I was watching. I knew Wagner was going to be the man, bro. Like for sure. For sure, especially because his jiu-jitsu is just like that. It's just without slapping, man. So I knew he was going to do very well on that. But I actually called my manager and I was like, "Yo, dude, I want to be on this combat jiu-jitsu shit. Like figure it out, bro. Like let's get on it." And my manager's like,
"That's a manager call. Interesting."
Yeah.
Is he like, "What are you talking about?" Or is he like, "Shut up"? Does he know what you're talking about?
No. Yeah, dude, Jason House, man, he's so involved in. He's a jiu-jitsu pro under Jiva. He's the man, bro. Like he's all for it, man. We were actually watching it together. He was watching it when I called him. I was like, "Yo, you watching this?" She's like, "Yeah,
man." Okay. Well, I'm just making sure you're in good hands. The community always needs a check. I feel better about it already. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Well, this is also making me excited because I was all prepared to tease you about not being really invested in jiu-jitsu until we see in a super fight. And that's where you got to use your UFC. I mean, Sub Underground's ready for you tomorrow, I guess, when you're not fighting is the other thing.
Yeah, man. I was actually there this weekend, man, and I saw that it's actually really cool. I didn't realize how many guys they would have, man. I didn't think it was going to be that crazy of an event, man. It's actually really big, dude. Like, I found out they sold out, dude. I got it for free, dude. I don't know how. Like, I guess we confused the lady or something. Like, so what happened was like they were sold out. I was like, well, I'm gonna go support my boy Kawan Barboza. He won that night. And I was like, all right. And plus, my professor needed a carpool, or else he would have never gotten there on time. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna roll with you. He goes in there. He's like, watch, I'm gonna try and get you in. So he goes in there. And he's like, hey man, his whole thing was, I'm a UFC fighter, right? You didn't realize that there was like 3 UFC fighters there, and like legitimate ones, like, with world titles and shit. Oh man. And so he's like, yeah, man, he's my UFC fighter. I needed him to carpool, and like she's just like, what? Because he's just like super resilient. Eventually, she just gives me a wristband. I guess she thought I was fighting. So like, we go in the back, and that's how I get him for free. Hopefully, I don't hear about this shit. But I don't know if you know where I was going. Oh yeah, it was just it's a great event, man. I didn't think it was gonna be that big. I saw Kevin Casey fight. Marvin fought, man, another fucking heel hook. That was a beast. It was cool, man. Cool event.
So you're talking about this was the fight to win a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I think it was in Burbank. Yeah,
you were in Burbank because I just happened to be walking around, and this is why it's always so funny. I'm just like, that motherfucker's here. Look at him. I see him right now, and it's so funny because I'm like, he's so close in the jiu-jitsu community that sometimes when you get an MMA fighter, you want to steal him back. You want to be like, nope, we take you back to jiu-jitsu for a little while because we want to borrow you. But dude, I mean, here's the nice part is, being a UFC fighter, you're always in that range of people, and it's always good to keep your neck out and kind of get in those situations, because I'm pretty sure at some point it's going to be the right organization, right time. We can get you in a couple of super fights. So duly noted, promoters, if you're listening right now, the man's looking for some good super fights or even combat jiu-jitsu. But I want to ask this. Okay, so Kevin brought it up, but we didn't really fully get to ask you about the experience of being on Looking for a Fight, because Dana White comes up to you, and it seems like Dana White's been pretty chill with you. He seemed to like the fight from all the sources we got between you yesterday and Benito. But, like, what was that experience like for Dana White to tell you got a contract, man?
Oh, dude, that was the fucking best feeling in the world, bro, because, you know, like, what the show shows is not what really freaking went down, bro. Dana didn't even see my fight. Dana walked into the freaking arena right after my fight. There's like, in my head, I didn't get the contract. Like, he didn't see me fight, man. So that was kind of like the thought that I thought. But Coach Kenny Johnson's like, well, you know what? Just go introduce yourself to him, see what's up.
Can I do a quick fact check? Quick fact check. Knowing Al a little bit, and you don't neither confirm nor deny. You can just keep going with your story. But I feel like you said, oh, fuck that guy. Didn't even see his fucking loss. I'm the man. And then now go back. Now let's go back in. I just wanted to fact that. Yeah. Just get a quick correction.
I should have said that shit. I should have. But no, what happened was I turned into a complete wuss, dog. So my coach tells me to, like, go say what's up to him. You know what I mean? Introduce yourself. Just like, yo, man, I just got a 12-second knock. Well, Coach Kenny was like, hey, go up to that motherfucker. Tell him you just got a 20-fucking-second knockout and sign me, bitch. That's what he told me to say. But I of course I wasn't gonna say that shit, so I went up to him. I was walking towards him, and I saw a bunch of fighters like surrounding him. I'm like, like, everybody's over there. Fuck that. Like, I'm not gonna be one of those guys. Like, if he'll see, he'll see. And I kind of talked myself out of it. You know, I turned into a wuss, and went back, like, saw my family, went backstage again. Coach Kenny Johnson looks at me, like, did you go say hi to him? And I was like, nah, I didn't say hi. Like, all timid and shit. And he's like, yo, man, you better go over there. I'm going to smack the shit out of you. And I was like, fuck, all right, I got you, coach. So then I went over there. Luckily, someone got hit in the nuts. So, like, everybody was focused on that guy, and Dana was by himself. So I go up to Dana, and I'm like, hey, man, I just want to let you know. He's sitting next to Matt Serra. Like, hey, you know, my name is Albert Morales. Whether you sign me today or don't sign me, I know I'm going to work for you, so I want you just to know my name. And he's like, oh, you're Morales. You're the guy who got the 12-second knockout or whatever, you know. I was like, yeah, man. He's like, oh. And luckily, the guys from the Kingdom were right behind him. And I was actually on the Kingdom a couple of times. So they recognized me, and they're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. So that kind of hyped me up too, man. And so that was kind of cool. And then that was it, man. And Matt Serra thought it was badass that I said that. And I walked off. After the fights, my boy Tommy fought, finishes off with a knockout. Then I get a call, yo, Albert, come to the back. And I'm like, okay, fuck. Well, I guess I left my check again because I had a really bad problem. Like, they give me my check and I put it down and fucking I'd be gone. And they always call me in the back. So I'm like, all right, I probably left my check. So I go to the locker room and I'm like, all right, so where's my check? They're like, no, dude, Dana actually wants to talk to you. And fuck, right there, like, my heart drops. I'm like, holy crap, what do you mean Dana wants to talk to me? What did I do? Like, he's like, no, he wants to talk to you. Then it starts, like, I think, like, could I be getting signed? Like, what's going down? Next thing you know, the door opens, and I see a whole bunch of freaking cameras come in. Here comes Dana's big ass. And he's like, hey, man, you know, I'm impressed. I saw the footage. I just want to let you know, man, you know, we're doing this. I'm like, what is that? And I, like, spaz out. And the first thing I do is, like, I see him. He's big. He's right in front of me. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to give him a hug. And I go over there, pick his ass up, squeeze him, and drop him. And then I was just, I don't know, man. It was like it was like a dream come true. It's kind of weird. I felt high, like super high for like the next like 3 hours after that, man. But it was a super crazy experience.
I want an excuse to hug Dana. I like it. That's fantastic. I saw the footage and just immediately felt good about you in life. You put yourself there, though. You knocked someone made a rubber out in 12 seconds. And does it feel better? Does it feel as you thought it would? Has it been, you're kind of now at the place where you're probably confronted with how much work it is. How's it feel now?
Oh, man. Well, you're right. Like, I'm starting, like, to really understand the UFC and everything that it is, man. It's a freaking, the only thing I can say is like, it's a machine, bro. The way it runs. And if you can't keep up with the machine, then you get left behind. And so like, I came into the UFC, like I said, kind of arrogant, thinking I could run this shit. And I got fucking ran over, but luckily, like, I stuck onto the fucking wheel, and they gave me another contract. This was actually the first fight of my new contract, because my last contract was a 4-fight, and I got a draw on my first fight, which I know I won, but they dropped that shit because I fought a Mexican in Mexico. Second fight was a 2-week notice in Brazil. Lost to Thomas Almeida. That was kind of dumb. Who flies to Brazil on 2 weeks notice, and fight the number 8 guy at the time. My third loss was 2 weeks notice in Glasgow, Scotland. And then that's 4. My bad. I think it's 4. And then my win. It's funny because I don't even think about my win. But anyways, I'm 3. I'm 1, 2, and 1. So that's a horrible record I got. Like, I've seen, dude, they cut Christos, and Christos wasn't even done with his contract. So I'm like, dude, I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I'm done. Like, I remember losing my last fight. I'm in Scotland. It's cold as shit. I'm in my underwear, and I'm freaking crying my eyes out. I'm like, fuck, dude. Everybody was right. Like, all the haters that fucking wanted me to fail, they were right. I couldn't make it in the UFC, and like, it was the worst feeling ever. And like, dude, coming back home, like, everything was just like, it was weird, man. I was like, man, am I washed up? Like, dude, it's weird things, man. I'm fucking 25 at the time. Like, dog, like, it still seems bad. Like, it was bad, but I mean, it wasn't. It shouldn't have been the end of the world, but it felt like it. So, anyways, like, I had to, like, just realize, like, yo, man, like, it's not the end. Like, if you get cut, I'm just gonna have to go to all these lower organizations, go take off their champion's head, bring them back to Dana's desk, and be like, here, bro, I'm back. I took out everybody. So that I put that in my head.
Giving you a small glimpse into how Albert the Warrior more or less approaches most things, which is just like, all right, I'm going to go cut the fucking head off of somebody and bring it back. I'll be right back. And
how does he get the nickname The Warrior, Kevin?
It's beyond me. I assume it's something sarcastic, like in the military, but we'll find out maybe when he does his 30 for 30. Because, I mean, Al's 26 now, so not to sound like I was 25. Like, that was almost a year ago.
Yeah, okay.
So still doing pretty well. I will say I have some discrepancies with your fighter profile on UFC.com. Mm-hmm. Under summary, it says well-rounded. Doesn't say anything about having a nice smile. So fuck that, because you can add to it. Well-rounded and a nice smile might be nice. That's just a little bit of. It doesn't. Also, it says you fight out of Granada Hills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know where the fuck that came from. Like, at least they say it right on TV. Like.
So I'm calling some things out. I just wanted to make you aware that while you're living your dream, their web developer needs a little tweaking.
Yeah, dude, they're horrible. Like, dude, that's hilarious. Actually, you know what? I think I know where I got that. I think I know where they got it from. I probably told them that's like the hospital that I was born in, because I think my mom told me that to make me feel like I was special. I don't know if Granada Hills is nice or anything. I think, like, growing up, I was like, Mom, where was I born? She says Granada Hills. Like, because I don't know. I was always in Reseda from what I know.
This is where you get the good stuff. This is why people come to Verbal Tap, to get this type of insight. We get Albert Uncensored.
Albert, like, I love the fact that on your Wikipedia page, it says Morales is a lifelong dedicated fan of gaming and regularly streams and plays FPS games. ...
Like a psychopath is missing, but we'll assume it's implied.
I do notice
that. That's cool, man.
As part of your commitment to being an online personality, you are playing games consistently. Like I've seen, have you been doing it on Twitch as well, is what I saw at one point?
Yeah, man, I was trying to stay consistent with that, dude, but it's just really hard, man. Sometimes I just want to go out and play, like, and not worry about, like, cussing because there's going to be a kid online or something like that, man, because I'm, you know, even though I cuss in front of my daughters. I'm not going to lie, or anything, as long, you can say that's bad parenting, but I mean, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm trying to let them know that, you know, it's not, but I mean, if I've never had a complaint from any of my daughter's teachers. Thank God, you know, knock on wood, it never happens. Because she knows not to say them like outside as of now. But I mean, like, eventually they all freaking learn them, bro, and they all fucking just start cussing. So I'm not like, that's not the worst thing. As long as she knows that they're there and you can't say them in front of adults, then, you know, it is what it is.
Can I put a timeout on that for a second? We'll come back to your response. But the thing I need you to know is this is legit truth, Kev. This happened today. I went to go train. My buddy's got a couple wrestlers, and they're like high school kids that they like help out. And so he looks at me, and he, you know, my buddy's like, "Hey man, Coach Raff has a podcast." And one of the kids goes, "Yeah, I know." And I go, "Oh." He goes, "Yeah, I've listened to a couple." And I go, "Oh, what'd you think, man?" And he goes, "It's good."
No, that ain't right.
No. He goes, "Yeah, you cuss a lot, man." And I was like, I do, dude. It's an adult podcast. Like, I don't know how to tell you this. And I wanted to look at him, and I was like, is this 15, 14-year-old kid giving me shit about cussing on my show? Because, listen, how dare you, first of all? I never gave anybody shit when I was 15, being like, hey, tone it down on the cursing there.
I kind of enjoy it. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's good, but you guys sound like you really eat a lot of gluten, and that just doesn't jive with me.
Yeah. It was just so funny to sit there and like he was like, no, it's good. It's just, you know, you curse a lot. It was like, you're fucking right, I do, kid.
Oh, was he talking about you or the podcast?
I think he was saying on the podcast we curse a bit. So if he's listening right now, you know who the fuck you are. And listen, I'm not going to change. But second of all, I just love that for a mere fact. When I, like, Kev, I cannot describe to you my face enough where I was just like, yeah, so do you like it? What do you think, kid? And I was ready for him to say, like, I don't like it. That's fine. I don't care. But he was just like, it's good. You just curse a whole bunch. And I was like, yeah, dude, do you know our demo? Our demo is lazy stoner. They love it when we curse because it wakes them up.
He's a wrestling kid?
Yeah, he's a wrestler. And you know what? I got to tell you this. He's a beast. Crazy. He is. These kids, they're really good kids, man. But, like, if I'm being on the real right now, when we do rounds, like, sometimes we do, like, a hybrid jiu-jitsu and wrestling round. Yeah. So it's kind of like their goal is to try and get you on your back. Our goal is to try and, like, sweep them and, like, identify how, like, choke threats can be for them. But it's supposed to be to keep them consistent and take them a little bit outside the world of just wrestling, right? These kids who are 14, 15, the minute we go, okay, now drop all the jiu-jitsu and just wrestle them, I'm like, no, I don't want to. No. No. And Kev,
I won't do it. That's not happening.
I hate to go on this tangent, but it's too good. One of the kids, when he made a bad shot and I sprawled and I put my weight on him, like, the coach was going, he goes, hey, man, he goes, you got to get Raph's weight off of you. And he goes, you got to come up and do a duck under or something.
No, and he just shut up.
No,
shut up, coach.
The poor kid who's, again, all of 14, 15, who's a man. Like, he's got a man's build. So it's not like I'm beating up on some kid. He literally looks at his coach and goes, I can't. He's too heavy. And I was like, wait.
Hey.
That? Come on, kid.
Hey, I didn't talk shit on your technique. Like, there's no reason to call me out here.
At the end, he
should have sprawled harder, bro. Just sprawled harder.
Drop an elbow is what Albert says.
Here's what happens, though, kid. At the end of all that, he, like, you know, he waits for a while. Then he just goes, hey, man, how much do you weigh? And I go, I'm about 180 right now. And he goes, oh, cool, I'm about 155. I was like, yeah, well, when you're on top, you feel about 180. So there. And Anyway, that was
I'll
my
be a
tangent.
damn it.
That was my tangent
Yeah.
that I needed to make sure. I needed to get some stuff off my chest, Albert. Thank you so much. But you were saying when you curse and you're going on Twitch, some people don't love that.
That's ridiculous.
No, I love Twitch, man. It's just really hard for me to get on that, man. And then also like the whole thing with me, I guess I could have sometimes it could be all right to talk to me, but I mean, like I get bored of like listening to me speak. So I wanted to do more like a podcast, but not so much a podcast, more like a bunch of well, I guess it is a podcast, but a bunch of homies just playing games to each other and like with each other, and like we don't necessarily have to be on the same like screen. Like I even stopped showing myself on it. Like I would just like have my voice there, and then you could hear all my other guys because everybody will just include their audio, and it would just be us playing video games, just like playing whatever. But then it's really hard because they had to figure out times, and we had to figure out times, and then fights came up. So it's just really hard, man. I don't know how Mighty Mouse does it, man. He's a beast, but who knows?
I just want to make sure you're crediting Mighty Mouse, but you just described one of the difficulties of doing a podcast, aka what we do. So when you started mentioning, you're like, I don't know, I think I want a podcast. Maybe I don't, but I do. I'm like, whoa, easy there, buddy. You're treading on really thin waters with us, saying you're going to start a podcast, because that immediately means you're dead to us if you do. But let's stay on this Mighty Mouse thing, because it's kind of bad form to call somebody out in like MMA, but you do notice it works. But it's not bad form to call someone out in the gaming world. So maybe you need to take that Conor McGregor approach with Demetrius and start to instigate that. And then I think you got yourself a show, sir.
That'd be actually really cool, man. But what if he kicks my ass, bro? I'm gonna be fucking pissed. I gotta find a game that he's not good at. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna call him out.
You need to just hop on this Pac-Man train and get really good at that.
I'm gonna go ahead and venture it's all of them. He seems like not so much a gamer, but like a reader.
Well,
and then maybe he goes on a cycling.
Hold on,
tour.
let's
that's
stay on
my
something.
Guess.
Kev, and I didn't expect this from him. When I went to when I went to Denver about a month ago, I saw that Kevin had purchased a game, and it honestly shook me. I was like, "You bought this?" And Kev goes, "Yeah, I bought the WWE 2K." And I said, "Why would you buy that?" He goes, "I don't know. Vicky and I, we just wanted a fighting game, and I just open. I think you could kick Demetrius' ass at a WWE 2K. So think about that, because it's kind of like fighting, but it's not. And the idea is, I think you have the advantage. I think you know just a little bit more, dude.
I'm down, man. You know what's funny? Like, all right, so I'm telling you guys all my fucking secrets. So one of my good friends, his name is Nacho. He's actually one of the gamers that was going to be part of my little podcast. He buys all the games. He has Xbox. So I remember one day, like, he came over and we synced his Xbox account into my Xbox so we could both play. He goes home, he goes and plays his games. I found out if I log into his account while he's not there, I can make my Xbox his home Xbox. So I get all his games. He constantly buys games. So he can still play at his house, but all his games that he downloads comes into my Xbox. And he actually does have WWE. So I'm actually going to get to work as soon as I'm done talking to you guys.
We have different definitions of what work is, but I like that we've already started the psychological. We've started the psychological side of this.
And Kev, here's the thing. Competition, bro. Al has professed he's got a good WWE BJJ game. Never seen it. Never.
Wait, you've just put it out into the ether?
Mm-hmm.
Al, what's your finisher? What's your jiu-jitsu? What's your WWE BJJ finisher?
It was a Ross Jericho, but now someone did it, so I gotta figure something else. What was Chris Benoit's freaking submission?
That was the crippler crossface. So
there you go. I'm going with the crippler cross. No, was it the crippler crossface?
Dude, Chris Benoit?
Yeah, it was a crippler crossface, right?
Yeah,
right behind the back, and then two, like yeah. You're right.
No. So what he would do is he'd flatten the person out on the ground. He would trap the arm, and then it's kind of like they're in turtle, flatten them out, trap the arm,
Right.
and then pull on the bridge of the nose, and then pull back. Like, it's a legit area. Like, if you get somebody in turtle, a lot of times when, like, that was where a lot of the WWE BJJ came to me from, because I would start to get people to turtle, and I would be like, so I just crank on the neck and trap the arm, right? And they're like, no. And I was like, but why? And they're like, well, if you want people to train with you, you shouldn't do that. And I just go, yeah, but I can win this way, right?
Yeah, dude, that'd be sick, man. It's just too much, dude. Like in a real jiu-jitsu match, you think like I would be able to work, like, because it's like a lot you got to break down, because you got to trap the arm, and then so you're pretty much doing like an S grip choke, like on his nose.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
so badass.
Nobody thinks about the fact that you can do it in a gi.
Woo! You can use the gi.
Exactly. Nobody thinks about that. You trap that arm
right on your face.
You two are sick.
So, like,
it's way easier. You can catch it from omoplata.
Exactly, son. And I want to point this out to people, because if you don't think WWE BJJ is a real thing, we're going to do a breakdown of this, Kev. But Justin Rader does a reverse guillotine. So essentially, he like puts his arm over somebody.
Justin Rader's very good.
Yeah, he's amazing.
That's
but
crazy.
He does reverse guillotine, which is essentially a dragon sleeper. And that just happened in MMA over the weekend. So we'll be doing a breakdown of that later this week. So keep an eye out on YouTube.
I'm gonna work on doing this crippler crossface, bro.
That's fine. I mean, you probably won't pull it off, and if you do, it won't be with style. But I mean,
I'm gonna pull it off. I'm taking my GoPro everywhere now.
You try to cripple crossface me, I'm inside heel hugging you. I'm just gonna say it. Because I feel like you're strong enough to pull it off. I weigh a lot more than you, and I'm still gonna be like, God damn it! What's he been eating? Son of a bitch!
Like, the crippler crossface is something that I've done a couple times to Kevin, and he's always like, it hurts on the nose. And I was like, it actually is better that it hurts on the nose, because it hurts everywhere. Dude.
I do not appreciate it.
Dude, I'm gonna get some reps in, bro. I'm gonna go to the kids class. I'm going yellow belt all the way up, man.
I can't wait till you get a black belt who you try to do it to, and they just like peel you off, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing, kid?" But here's the thing, Al. Now I've told you, if you want the help, we're willing to help you. You just got to show up and train, and we'll make you we'll make it happen. We'll make it get there. Because here's the nice part: if you pull that off in an MMA fight, let alone one in UFC, your job is forever saved, because you're gonna go super viral.
Right. I'm gonna do it, bro. I'm gonna do it. Just we said it here on the show tonight. All right. The day after our fight, I'm gonna get a crippler crossface. Before I retire, I'm not gonna say when, bro, because that's, hopefully it's like when I'm like towards the end of my career, and they're giving me all the easy fights at that point. Like I've lost the belt. Then I'm gonna go get me a crippler crossface.
Absolutely, I think that works.
So tune in 10 years from now when Albert starts to physically and probably mentally decline. That's when you will see him punch some rookie into a crippler crossface.
That's right.
Slap Jitsu also offers a lot of opportunity here for you. I feel like you could take advantage of some like 10th Planeter in an EBI round. It's like, oh shit, he won't stop slapping him. And then there's a lot of options, I guess is the point. Albert, when can we see you fight next? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? How are you doing? I'm going to start to wind down. I just want to give people a, hey, here's where he's going to be next.
Cool. Well, for sure. Oh, well, it sucks because I wanted to do Nogi Worlds this week, but
seriously,
they fucking closed registration super early, so that kind of killed it for me. The goal was to go fight and then immediately go to to Nogi Worlds, IBJJF.
Right.
But since that's not going down, I gotta wait till next year. So next year I'm going to Atlanta for the Atlanta Open. I'm going to Chicago. Well, that's where I'm ending off. So it's Atlanta, New York, and then the Chicago Open. And then anything in between, like little tournaments, I'll try to hop in. But those are the three ones that I'm going to for sure. I'm going on a little tour with Kawan Barboza, Alexandre Molinaro, and John Paul. I can never pronounce John Paul's last name. Libalawski, whatever the hell he's But yeah, we're all gonna go on a tour. We're all like, representing Carlson Gracie team. Kawan and Molly do it all the time. So we're just like, you know what? Like it's always been Kawan's dream to have a team go out. And I'm like, fuck it, let's go. I said, I found my newfound love with jiu-jitsu again. We're back at it. We're at that honeymoon stage where I just want to just be with her all the time. So I already bought my tickets to all 3 of those places. And then hopefully I have a fight after that, or maybe like a combat jiu-jitsu, but hopefully around March, I'm already getting ready for another camp. So I don't really want to stop at this point.
I'm just saying, there might be a USSGL event tournament, maybe in Orange County. I don't know. Maybe mid-February.
I hope they have a driver and an equipment locker for the Warrior.
Hey, I'm there, dude. I'm there. Dude, honestly, dude, I'm about to buy my. I feel so lame. I'm buying my Prius tomorrow. Hopefully I can get that shit tomorrow. I'm gonna get a deal, bro. I'm going to Car Pros and not Car Pros, CarMax. Yeah. Going to CarMax, and I'm gonna look for a nice little Kia because the BMW broke down on me too fast. So to hell with that. And so I'm gonna get a Prius, and I'm just gonna train, man. I'm just gonna go back to what I was doing, man. And I'm excited. So any tournaments that you got, shoot them my way. And I'm going to sign up. I'm trying to sign up for as many as I can. I don't want to stop training, man. I'm in a good mood right now. So you'll see me all over the place, man. And don't if you guys are listening, which nobody probably is, hit me up, man. And say what's up, dude.
That's a good sign. It's a really good sign that you're on this podcast and you thought about starting your own podcast, which means you're not interesting enough to keep people listening all the way to the end. So good confidence.
He's got a lot to do between gaming and parenting and all the other bullshit. Kind of refining his fight skills. Hey, we'll find out all we need to, Raph, the next time we train with the Warrior. No, Albert, you're one of our favorites. We love you to death. You're good people. You always fight with a smile, sir. And you were saying earlier, you were like, it's super dumb that I take these fights. Yeah, we love that about you. And so does Dana. MMA fans, it's always Albert will fight him. He's been super clear. So keep that reputation. Don't forget that there's a lot of reward in just being a hard worker. Who can we help out? UFC, Reebok, if you want to look as cool as Albert Morales, well, there's going to be a lot of work to be had. But gear-wise, you can find him at Reebok. Who else can we shout out? Who else is keeping you the way you are?
Oh man, let's go teams, right? Obviously, I'm gonna throw out my Carlson Gracie Bulldog family worldwide. Shout out to everybody, man. We're making a real push to come back into competition jiu-jitsu. We've been taking over tournaments. We got some killers coming from Brazil, so. It's gonna be a really big thing, man. I'm trying to convince my boy Kawan and Molly to start hopping on these EBI formatted rules, man. But they're so their whole life is to go for IBJJF World Gold. That's literally their life. There's nothing else other than that. And the deepest thing. I'm sorry, I'm always going on these damn tangents, but the deepest thing my boy told me, man, is he was like, Albert, we were cutting weight. He was like, Albert, I don't care if I lose every match my whole jiu-jitsu career, but if I win the world's gold, it would be worth it. And I was like, fuck, bro. How gangster is that, man? And so he's my brother, dude. I love that guy to death. That's why I'm cruising with him on this trip. So Carlson Gracie for sure. The movement, my coach, my teammates, my boy Devin, who's going to fight. Dude, my boy Devin's actually fighting Royce Gracie's son at Bellator.
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. And then obviously Black House, Fast Switch, my strength coach, Coach Preston, all my masseuses, Dr. Park, who's my tupper, Pamela Venegas, who's a jiu-jitsu practitioner. She's a very, very good deep tissue masseuse. You guys hit her up on Instagram, Pamela Venegas. and you guys, man, because I fucking love hanging out with you guys. That's why, like, you know, whenever you guys hit me up, I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm pissed off that you guys don't hit me up that often, man.
You're a star, Raph.
Yeah,
we can only talk to UFC athletes.
I'm not. You know, this always ends on a happy note. Fuck you. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Good shit at the end of it. How many times do I see you, and how many times do I say when you come into trade? As if you don't get love from this side of the world, you need to take that shit somewhere else. And if a certain 14 is still listening to me curse, no, it is justified at this moment, because this man is over here trying to give us shit as if it's like, oh, you know, I love coming on your show when you love me. No, fool. You need to get on your fucking mind right and get your shit going with the UFC career. And you know that we're always supporting you, and we're always happy to see when shit's going well. And one of the things that is heartbreaking about last night is when you see your guy go in there, fights with his heart, the decision doesn't go his way, you want to be able to say, like, yo, nobody gets to talk to you on that side and ask you what you thought was going on. Because in those split seconds or those small little decisions, it makes people feel like what they're fighting for is less than. And for us, it's like, yo, dude, I see you grinding. I see you doing jiu-jitsu. I see you getting your rounds in. I see you getting your family right. And it's like, there's a better story there that I think people deserve to hear. So I'm glad you came on the show to tell your side, because guess what, dude? We know we're going to see you back on the grind pretty soon, but it's cool to hear all of the background stories that otherwise would have gone lost. So we put a nice little place marker as to what happened this weekend. And we know more is going out there to come. And, you know, we know that you're going to run away from training with me, and that's fine. I understand.
Continue to run away from training with you.
And absolutely. It sucks, Kevin. You know what it's like. You know, he won't even go to Denver to roll with you.
Yeah, well, not at this altitude.
I'm just going to show up. Like, I'm going to show up at your gym, bro. Just freaking, I'm going to go look for that. Was it Nuwaza that had the fucking, like, the fucking, it was like a toreador guy, like, you know, the freaking guy, the Spaniards that, like, had the fucking, the bullfighter outfit.
Oh,
the conquistador. Yeah, I'm going to walk in just like that, bro. What's cracking?
You know,
with the fucking pinstripe.
Everybody expects one day somebody to walk into, like, our gym or just, like, where we train, especially at the LA Jiu-Jitsu Club. They expect somebody to walk in and just be like, fuck you, Raph, and be like, oh, is it happening here? Because that's fine. Like, I expect those things. It's like when you just look over and you're like, yeah, I talk a lot of shit about a lot of people. I'm surprised it took this long. All right. But no, I know a lot of the guys have, like, whenever I've said of, like, you know, Al's always looking to come train with us. The guys would love to have you come on over our way at the Jiu-Jitsu Club. And I'll actually be out there for covering No-Gi Worlds, and we're going to organize a No-Gi, or not just a No-Gi, but an open mat out that way. So you're more than welcome to come train with us out that way, sir.
Sounds good, man. Well, I'm going to fucking be at No-Gi Worlds there. So maybe you guys, so you guys going to have someone there, or are you guys going to be watching it on TV?
Oh, I'll be there.
Like, watching it online.
I'll be covering it live. So I'll be out there for No-Gi Worlds starting Friday. And then I think we might do an open mat maybe that Friday, depending on when everybody's around, because we want people, if you're in town, and by the way, if you're listening to this now and you're going to No-Gi Worlds, hit us up, let us know you're in town. We want to make sure you have an opportunity to come train, and we're going to make a real casual session, maybe 2 over the weekend, so that way you don't get murdered.
It's casual.
Listen, Kev, I need to say casual, because these motherfuckers, it doesn't matter how many times you tell them, they'll be like, hey, we're going a little easy because this guy's competing tomorrow. Those motherfuckers still go like it's like the final round of Mundials. And I'm like,
I'm having a good
save it, kids. The only persons who are going to go against finals rounds of Mundials is me and Albert, and I'm going to use all of my 49 pounds heavier than him against him.
I'm just jealous I'm injured.
Sounds good, man.
All right, guys. Well, let's do this. Al, it's always a blast to have you on the show. If you guys aren't following him, you can follow him at, what is it, the Warrior 135?
Warrior 135 UFC. I had to throw in that UFC. That was the coolest thing ever when I got signed. I was like, yeah, I could actually say this, and it's legit. So that's and it's good. So yeah, you can see that. You can see that all the way through Twitter, Instagram, even Xbox Live. It's all the same shit.
Love it. That's great stuff. Al, we're so proud of you, man. You know what? I know the decision didn't go your way yesterday, but you gave a fuck of a fight, and we're very proud of you here. But we look forward to seeing whatever's next for you, sir. And we more than are happy to hear you'll be competing around in the next year for 2018 for a lot more grappling events. So thank you very much for stopping by the podcast, sir.
For sure, guys. Thank you guys for having me. Later.
Raph, I'm 32. You're adorable. I think that's all there is to say about this episode.
Yeah, I think so.
Al rocks. We love him. We've always loved him. We talk a lot of shit, and we're way meaner to his face than we are behind his back because we're big fans. We've trained with him before, Raph, during his first Kevin Jiu-Jitsu extravaganza LA. Took me out to Systems where I got to train with him because he's trained with some of our friends from way back. And I know in the fight game, they're like, it's current or it's not. But we're not in the fight game. We're in the fight reporting game. And we'll report that he used to fight with our friends at Systems. And now he fights at a different team. And that's, that's a world we live in. But it also explains so deeply why he's an awesome human. He would only interact with other awesome humans that we happen to like. So a lot of awesome human trails. And we hung out with him, seconds before he departed, but it was a blast of a training session at Systems. I got to, Marcus Koval's no joke. I got to train with him, Dimitri, and Albert Morales. It was just like, Raph, fuck, are you only taking me to fight psychopaths? The answer was mostly yes. That's going to do it for us. What an awesome way to spend the birthday, by the way, Raph. I'm going to do some shout-outs. I want to start with my man Sean Waddle, who just got his black belt from Matthew Jubera. Tough guy to get your black belt from. Not an easy crew. And Shanji was in town for a Jubera seminar. Shanji and Jubera, I imagine, surprised Waddle with his black belt. That has to be just an unbelievable feeling. Waddle's the man. He's one of those people you'd put up against anyone. I would honestly, I just can't imagine anyone beating him. I've seen him and Jubera fight. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure it's jiu-jitsu. It just doesn't make sense to me. Training with him, he always teaches you. This is a badass. This is a good guy. Awesome beard. Glad to see he got his black belt. Much deserved. Big pillar in the Colorado community. You're going to hear a lot of people say nice things. And a lot of people already have been saying nice things. I wanted to add to that crew because the guy teaches me a lot and fights with me and chokes me, and he's so delightful, Raph. He's just a light choker. Just like, you're obviously you're gonna have to tap. Like, those are the rules. You have no choice. Your airway's restricting, but it's via technique that he does it. It's not through pressure or strength. It's just through pure technique, and you're like, God damn it, that's my arm. Fantastic to see. To the whole Jubera crew, it's always terrifying when Shenji stops by when I'm injured. It's great when he's here because he taught me a lot about the defensive game. And I'm not like Raph. I haven't spent my life studying it. I don't know it as well. It's a big change for me. So I can't imagine what he taught this time, and it pisses me off I wasn't there. There's a lot to be angry about. People were like, wear your white gis with your patched up. That's no joke either. He really means it. Wear your Hibero, wear the whole thing. Otherwise, you're going to get a little Shunji head tilt. Like, oh, you don't have your patches on. Interesting.
Oh.
And it's not going to feel good, guys.
You don't like white geese. Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Jubera's got great gear. What's the deal? It's like, oh, damn it. I didn't want to put your name on my back because I'm not good. So, is that an option?
I don't know.
Is the not ready for Hibero patch? Anyway, to that whole crew, that's going to do it for me, Raph. And, I do have to give a quick shout out to my sister and my mother who came out here. We ate for 3 days. Went to that same Takabe place. By the way, we also went to the Denver Biscuit Company, but they drove all the way out here. Fun birthday weekend. That's it for me.
That's great. I was really happy to hear that I surprised you with that sort of thing, Kev. So powers to them. Let's do a few shout outs. First of all, I want to go ahead and shout out Pam Moy, who just took home a purple belt at VMAC. Pam has been such a leader and such a great resource for us at the Valley Martial Arts Center. We had our nice white and blue belt tournament here today. She ran the whole thing. She also won because, that's what you do when you're Pam. But she had enough time to win in between running a tournament flawlessly. So our thanks to her for that. Thanks to everybody who came out for this tournament. I hope you guys had fun. I seem to see some good jiu-jitsu from folks near and far. And we want to thank you guys for making us a destination to go get your competition on. So thank you to everybody who came out to the VMAC tournament that happened out here today. Also, big congratulations to all of our friends who competed this weekend from the Los Angeles Jiu-Jitsu Club. There are far too many to mention, except I'll start with Aaron, who got a very well-deserved blue belt after winning his division and then taking third in absolute. Aaron is a very good training partner with us at the LA Jiu-Jitsu Club. Our good friend Damon, who took first in his division and first in absolute, no big deal. I mean, Jake, Eddie, a number of people who train with us came out, did big things. So proud of you guys. And then also our good friend Mike Frosto taking second over at the sub fighter tournament out that way in, I believe, Orange County. There's far too many people to mention, but those are just the ones that come to the top of my head as we start. So my thanks to everybody there. My thanks to all of you guys who have been making the Danaher and the Eddie Cummings and the Craig Jones videos pop. And we've gotten some really nice messages. So thank you to everybody who's been sharing those things or liking the videos. Those are always big weeks for us. And Kev, I want to go ahead and kind of put this out here right now because I think we're about to go forward and do this next. But we have a little mini announcement here, which is we're going to be partnering with our friends over at KO Sports Gear to recognize professors who are underappreciated. Because, all the competitive people, you find out like Gary Tonin isn't a shithead and is actually a pretty good instructor when you talk to some of his students. Even though he is a shithead and also a really, really good instructor, they're not mutually exclusive, Gary Tonin students, just to let you know that.
Yeah, he maintains capability to do all of the above.
Absolutely. But I think what we're going to partner to do is we're going to put something on the website very soon where you guys can submit entries for professors who you think have gone overlooked or who are doing something exceptional at your gym or around the grappling community. We want to kind of give back, and we're going to have a special prize with them. So we have partnered together with KO Sports Gear. You're going to want to go ahead and look out at Verbal Tapcast or keep an eye out on our Instagram and our social media page on Facebook so that we can tell you guys, hey, go give some of those people love, because we'd love to give them a nice little prize because, we don't do enough good things for really good coaches. And there are a lot of amazing coaches who do a lot of really good things. So we want to at least acknowledge one of them and then to the rest of them say, ha, you still suck. You're not as good as this guy. Or realistically, just, try to bring some attention as we get ready for the end of the year, which, by the way, reminds me, Kev, we're about at that time for end of the year shout outs. Am I right?
We're getting very close to end of the year shout outs.
So what does that mean that people need to do, Kev?
Let us know what you want us to shout out for the holidays. Let us know. Social media. Find us at Verbal Tapcast anywhere.
Yep. You can find us at Verbal Tapcast on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Send us a message. Tell us somebody that you want to shout out in the same way, and tell us why we should, give some people credit, because we're all about that during the holidays. We're shit for about 51 weeks of the year, but then 1 week, we're kind of nice. So I think, Kev, we could be better, but that's going to do it for me, except for a very nice happy birthday to you, sir.
Oh, thank you. You said something very nice. That'll do it for us tonight here at Verbal Tap. I'm Kevin. Thank you for listening.
Good night and good fight.
At this time,